South Asia has been witnessing climate extremes and harsh hitting weather records as well, especially this year. People faced extreme temperatures of almost 50 degrees Celsius during the heat wave, and now erratic and early rainfall triggering unprecedented floods in Bangladesh and northeastern India. Over 100 people have lost their lives. Millions have been left displaced. India's northeastern state of Assam has been hit by erratic rainfall and subsequent flooding, which started about a fortnight ago. At least 7 people were killed in the last 24 hours alone. Pre-monsoon heavy rains caused the rivers to swell, causing many to flee to safer areas. India's National Disaster Response Force has dispatched 14 teams, at least 70 boats, and over 400 personnel across the flood-ravaged state. The team has brought over 14,000 people to safe areas. Nearly 3.7 million are living in government-run makeshift shelters in higher grounds. About 5.5 million have been displaced and thousands are still trapped. The Indian Air Force helicopter airdropping relief materials in the affected areas. The government has put up several relief camps to provide food, water and medical treatment. Volunteers are out on rafts to try and rescue the people from the flooded villages. In the nearby state of Meghalaya, meanwhile, at least 25 people have died since the 9th of June, with 11 still missing and 22 more injured. Videos showing people in the affected cities wading through the muddy waters and streets turned into rivers, with entire villages submerged underwater. In neighboring Bangladesh, authorities are bracing for waterborne diseases. The government agencies are scrambling to get drinking water to the stranded people. Nearly 2,000 rescue teams have spread out across 17 districts to provide water and other supplies. This has been termed as the worst flooding in Bangladesh's northeastern region in more than 100 years. The floods have damaged about 70,000 hectares of paddy and over 300,000 hectares of other crops. Air Force personnel airdropping emergency humanitarian relief, drinking water, medicine, food material. The aerial images showing large parts of farms and villages submerged in floodwaters. At least 17 of the country's 64 districts are reeling as a result of the natural disaster. Most of them are in the north and northeast Sylhet region. Bangladesh is considered to be one of the world's most climate vulnerable countries. A 2015 analysis by the World Bank Institute estimated that about 3.5 million Bangladeshis are at risk of river flooding every year. And this year's torrential rainfall has lashed South Asia as early as March. It may take much longer to determine the extent to which climate change has played a role in the floods. But scientists believe that climate change is a major factor behind this erratic weather. They say climate changes making the monsoon more variable over the past decades, which also means that much of the rain expected to fall in a year is arriving in just weeks. And according to climate scientists, the pattern of the monsoons is vital for the agrarian economies of India and Bangladesh. But it has been shifting since the 1950s, with longer dry spells interspersed with heavy rainfall, and extreme rainfall events also projected to increase. Until now, floods in northeastern Bangladesh were rare, while India's state of Assam usually experienced floods later in the year during the usual monsoon season. But this year, the northeastern states in India have received nearly thrice their average June rainfall. In just the first 3 weeks of the month, the Bangladeshi Met Department has predicted more rainfall over the next 5 days. The country's flood forecast center has warned that water levels would remain dangerously high in the flood-hit areas. And with us on the broadcast is Damodar Pujari, Fellow for Climate Change Studies Program from Gateway House, with us from Mumbai. Thanks very much, Damodar, for being here with us. To what extent do you blame climate change for these floods which are being witnessed in Bangladesh and Northeast India?
As far as climate change and its direct impact on the recent floods is concerned, I think the climatologist will take a while to exactly ascertain the exact impact. However, if you look at the trend of Bangladesh floods in past 6-7 years, you will find that the pattern of floods and extreme weather rainfall events exactly matches the predictions of the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, IPCC's reports. The increased incidences of floods as well as the increased precipitation in a short span of time is definitely a feature that is recurrent in Bangladesh, and not just in Bangladesh, in Northeast India as well.
Would you say that unplanned urban growth and environmental degradation are behind the increasing flooding that we are seeing?
Unplanned urban development, as well as sudden changes in the land use patterns are really responsible for these kinds of are responsible in exacerbating the crisis. We have also seen such kinds of unplanned developments wreaking havoc in India in the recent past, and also the current situation in Bangladesh and northeastern India are no exception to it. The siltation in the river because of the indiscriminate discharge of debris and other kinds of material into the riverbed, unplanned development, as you have said, are largely responsible for these kinds of for exacerbating these crises.
We're leaving it there for the moment, Damodar. Thanks very much for helping us better understand these climatic events and the extent to which climate change is responsible for these floods. WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.